Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I will be sharing with you 3 different looks that you can create with the palette that I designed with Essence, which is the Shape and Shadows Eye Contouring Palette. Now the first look I'm going to show you is the Cut Crease, and this is quite a dramatic look, but it really makes your eyes look very big and it really defines the crease in your eyelid. So to start off, I'm using the Prime and Fixing Wax, and I'm using this as a base all over my lid, and then I'm using a small piece of sellotape just so I get a really nice crisp line and no mess. I take a small brush to plan out the crease, and I am using the shade Bridget to create a really dark line just above my natural crease line. Once this is done, I blend it all out, make sure it looks really nice and even and a natural fade, and I repeat this step several times so that I get quite a dark finish but it doesn't look blocky and it has just a really nice gradient to it. So once that's been blended out several times and I'm happy with it, I then take the highlighter Billy Vanilli shade and I use that all over my lid, and I also make a flick at the end with it. It gives a nice solid colour and it makes my eyes look really bright and awake. And then to soften it up at the edges, I use the Marilyn Metallic just to add a little bit of the pink coppery tone to the edges. To exaggerate the eye contour, I use the Hazel Grey shades just so that it gives a really nice natural fade. The shades work really well together. And again, I just blend all that out. To make my eyes look even bigger, I use the highlighter Billy Vanilli, again just in the centre of my eyelid, just so that it's really bright in the centre. I then take the darkest brown shade and use this all under my eye as a bit of a liner and blend it out so it's very soft, but it exaggerates my under eye and makes it look much bigger. The Billy Vanilli shade comes in again and I use it on the centre of my eye just to make my eyes look more open and awake. Once you remove the sellotape, you might find that you have to go in with a little concealer just to make sure everything's tidy, and then you can just go and do your eyeliner however you would normally. I'm using the Essence liquid liner, and then I'm also putting on some lashes over the top so that my eyes look really dramatic and just really bold. To finish, I'm using a little bit of mascara, more on the bottom and just a little bit on the top, just so that my natural lashes and the false lashes work together well. And that is your finished result. As you can see, it's quite a dramatic look, but it does make your eyes look much bigger, fuller, and it really exaggerates the depth of them. And I just really love using this as a way to make my eyes look much bigger than they naturally are. The second tutorial is a brow tutorial. This palette is multifunctional, so you can use this on your brows and on your eyelids. To start, I brush my eyebrows up. It just makes lining them so much easier as there's no hair in the way. And I'm using the Audrey Highbrow, which is the medium shade. It just works best for me. Don't worry about any fall off, you'll be cleaning that up after. So I only put a tiny bit of powder in the front of my eyebrows and I brush that through really carefully, and then I go in and also line the top of them. My personal preference is to make my eyebrows look a little bit longer than they naturally are, and then I go in and make sure that any of the gaps that naturally appear in my eyebrows are all filled in. Again, I take my spoolie brush just to blend through all the shadows. This is really important if you want a natural finish. To make sure that my brows stay in place, I use the Prime and Fix Wax. I have very long brows, so this is very important. And for the hairs in the tail of my brow, I use a little bit of the Brigitte Bardot shade with the Prime and Fixing Wax just to give a more defined result. When I'm happy with that, I again take my spoolie brush and just make sure that everything's exactly in place how I want it so that it sets in that position. Finish, I take a highlighter or a lighter concealer than my skin tone and I run that all the way under my brows. I'm using a highlighter for this tutorial, and you just blend this out and it really makes your eyebrow look far higher and give a really nice natural arch, and it also cleans up any mistakes you might have made with the shadow. I then take my everyday concealer, my most natural shade, and I run that over the top of my eyebrows. It's just a great way of cleaning up the eyebrows and making them look really perfect. And again, you just blend this out, making sure not to get any actually in your eyebrow hairs, because that can make it look quite messy. Under my brows, just to give it even more of a highlight, I'm using a bit more of the Billy Vanilli shade and then blending this out. And this is your finished result. As you can see, it gives you quite a bold brow and it's quite defined, but it's just a way of using the palette to create a brow look, and I'm sure you can come up with your own ideas for how you would use it for yourself. The final tutorial is a cat liner tutorial. In the palette you can actually combine the shades to create your own eyeliners. So again, I'm using the Prime and Fixing Wax just as a base so that my eyeshadow won't go anywhere throughout the day, and I covered the entirety of my lid with the Hazel Grace as a natural nude base. I then went in with the Audrey Highbrow to give a bit more of a refined flick, and once that was blended out I went in with the darker shade, which is the Brigitte Brown, and I extended that even further and gave it a really nice blended out natural gradient. I then went in with the Brigitte Brown under my eyes so that it gave a really nice, quite natural eyeline effect. In the centre of my eye I went in with the Marilyn Metallic. It's a little bit of a softer shade than using the Billy Vanilli like in the first tutorial. And then I combined the Brigitte Brown and the Prime and Fixing Wax to create my own eyeliner. It's really easy to work with and it's long lasting, and it really matches in well with your eyeshadow obviously. And I just go ahead and create my cat flick. Once the tape's removed, I just do a little bit of cleanup, and here are the finished results. As you can see, it's a little bit softer and more of a natural cat flick liner than you might be used to, but I really like that you can use the shades with the primer and fixing wax to create your own eyeliner, and I thought I'd have to show that off. I hope you've enjoyed seeing the 3 creations that I made from my own palette, and I would love to see what you can create with the palette when it's launched in June and July. But I will speak to you later, and thank you for watching. Bye!